Going live. Oh, I'm live. Okay. Okay, bye. I think I'm live. It says go to the chat. Okay. This is my first live stream. I'm learning on the fly. So come sit down. Okay, we're here. We did it. Okay. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Okay, so while we're waiting for people to come in, let's just give it a second for people to come in. Oh, there's Max. Hi, Max.
Let's say hello to everybody.
Yeah, we did it. It took a while, but we did it.
Oh, yeah, I see everybody popping in. Right on.
Okay.
Hello, everybody.
So, this is my co-host, Pat, and today we're going to be talking about the moldavite experiment. Mm-hmm. So, in case you guys don't know, this is moldavite. Let's see, you can see it here. Mm-hmm. It's a
couple good pieces, too.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if the light's catching it or not. Let me hold it up a little close for you guys. I don't know. There's some cool pieces. This is like a jagged piece right here. The light doesn't do it justice.
All right,
but
well, let's go. Let's tell them what moldavite is. So, first of all, so I'm going to be bringing the spiritual perspective, and then Pat is going to be doing the scientific perspective.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've researched it a little bit. I got interested because Jennifer had told me about the properties, so like as far as changing the vibrations and all that. And, you know, I was interested in that. And so then I started researching it, learned that it was a tektite and it's a kind of glass, found out where it came from and how it was hypothesized, how it was made, which is interesting in itself. It's a really good story because it's, you know, to make a long story short, it's a rock from space that struck the Earth's surface and melted, and it fused together this moldavite, you know, and this is what it made. And it's pretty cool. It made it in Czechoslovakia, hypothesized around 15 million years ago. And it made a pretty big impact. It was, I think I read that it was made like it was like an outrageous amount of megatons when it hit the planet, you know. And then what happened I could go on and on. I researched it really a lot.
There's a lot. There's like a ton of information on moldavite. A lot. And I don't know how this stone came into my awareness. I just popped up one day and was like, oh, yeah, we got to get on this moldavite stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then I ran off to go get my first piece of moldavite.
And I think this was your first piece right here.
So my first piece was this one.
And there is an interesting story with that piece because I think that's the one that popped off that when we were.
Oh, yeah. So we did a lot of experiments. So first, okay, so moldavite is a tektite. And so if you don't know what a tektite is, according to Wikipedia, it's a natural glass formed from a meteor. Okay, so when a meteor hits the Earth, it forms this glass type stone. Yeah. So it's not really a stone like traditional crystals. Yeah. And
the Greek word, it's tektos, and it means melted or molten. Awesome. I'm sorry, it means molten.
And we took notes because there's like so much information here.
Yeah.
But also, moldavite is rumored to be the stone of the Holy Grail.
Oh, I love this part.
So, and in Sanskrit, the word for tektites is anjimani, which is fire pearl.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool.
So I went, and so when I bought the moldavite, I also got this book. This is where I'm getting a lot of my information from as far as like the scientific stuff. And there's tons of other videos on YouTube about moldavite, which we did watch some of those, and we learned a lot of stuff about it. But so let me get into some of the spiritual aspects, because this is what really drew me in, because as you know, I love a spiritual shortcut. If I can take a spiritual shortcut, I'm going to take it. Mm-hmm. And so the thing with moldavite is that it is known as the stone of transformation. So if you're not ready to transform, you don't want to work with this because it's very powerful, but it works in kind of a gentle way. So the first thing we did when we got it home is I gave it to you and you held it in your hand, and a lot of people will experience like tingling. What did you feel?
I did. I felt warm, kind of just a warmth in my hand. I was skeptic at first. I have to admit, I wasn't expecting.
He's the skeptic. He's
I am.
The resident skeptic.
I have to question everything. I don't know why I have to do that. Just weird. But so I had it in my hand. But I honestly did feel something. And the funny thing is later on I would end up purchasing my own piece of moldavite. And I was told, by several people, including you, that, be careful, so I had it in my box on my shelf for a while, but then I was told to sleep with it under my pillow.
Well, that's the experiment that we did the other night.
And I have to admit, it changed my sleeping pattern. I was a little more alert.
You're not letting me talk.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so
sorry.
So I gave him the stone and I let him hold the stone and he felt a little bit of warmth or tingling. I gave it to my kids when my kids came home and I didn't tell them what it was. And I put it in their hands and they were like, ooh, it's kind of buzzing. For me personally, when I held it, I didn't really feel anything and I was kind of disappointed. But after I carried it around with me for a while, I would get like really hot, like very warm.
Yeah, I haven't carried it around. Yeah. I won't carry it around with me.
Yeah, I put it in a mojo.
Small amounts for me.
I put it in a mojo bag and I carry it around with me and wear it to work and stuff. And it makes you hot. And then I went to the gem show last weekend and they had a whole moldavite booth. And I walked up and was talking to the guy, and just standing at the booth, I was starting to like sweat from the moldavite. But another side effect that you get from moldavite, after being around it for a little while, I started to get a headache. Did you experience a headache from it?
No, I didn't experience a headache, but I did sleep. I had sleeplessness.
Okay, but you can also get nausea, lightheaded.
I didn't have any of that.
None of those. So, well, that's good. But oftentimes when people pick up moldavite, they don't want to put it down. And that's what I experienced. Like when we went to the store the first time and I picked up my first piece, I couldn't be without it. Like I wanted it with me all the time. That's why I started carrying it around in this little mojo bag. So what it does is it's as a doorway to higher states, and some people do find it overwhelming. The moldavite energies, the first place they go is to where you have blockages. So if you have any like emotional blockages or mental blockages or whatever, the moldavite's going to go like right there and start working on you. And it radiates its own high frequency. So it has a high spiritual frequency.
Yeah.
So
and
I don't know if you experienced that, but like I said earlier, it's known as a transformation stone, and it also accelerates your spiritual growth. I'm looking at my notes here. And it works on every cell in your body. So that's pretty amazing.
Well, I think the history of moldavite, how like royalties had it in their,
Oh yeah.
Crown jewels. I mean, Queen of England has had it. Has it in her crown jewels. I mean, show them your ring. The ring is really cool too. Look at how and this is one that's got facets on it. That's moldavite that they made look like a diamond. I mean, it's a pretty green.
Well, they do. Yeah, it does come raw like this. And then it also comes faceted, and depending on you can get a like a triangle cut. Those are supposed to be the most powerful.
Yeah.
So
why? Because the angle of the cut.
Yeah, because the sacred geometry or something just kind of like pinpoints the energy and puts the energy out. And then also if you
like a prism.
Anyways, I'm trying to stay on topic.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Anyway. So it goes to work on every cell in your body, and it clears your chakras. It'll clear blockages from your chakras. So it's most commonly felt in your heart chakra and your third eye chakra and your crown. And so this is why I was drawn to it, because those are like my 3 favorite chakras. So yeah. So it's also known to integrate your heart and your mind. So if you're having problems like getting stuck in your head and you're not really following your heart, you can work with it for that. And it really works. Right away when I started working with it the first night, I went to go journal, and normally I write in my journal and I circle things and I underline things. And then all of a sudden I heard like a voice tell me, look at what you just circled and underlined. So I start looking and I'm like circling, I'm like writing them all down. I'm like, oh my God, there's a message in here. So I start writing it down, and I was like, the moldavite was talking to me. So not to sound crazy, but it really was talking to me. I know. He already thinks I'm crazy. That's why he's the science guy. So I like to do these spiritual shortcuts, and I test them out on somebody who doesn't really have a spiritual practice, just to see if he feels any effects from them. Like I dragged him along to the labyrinth, and
I like the labyrinth,
and he loved the labyrinth.
Yeah, so, the labyrinth is a good thing. It does help you, it exercises your mind, and it's a good thing. And I like that.
So anyway, so what we decided to do for this experiment, because they say to best work with the stone, you have to kind of like attune yourself to its energy. So they say to like meditate with it, and what you can do is get a piece of tape.
I'm just kidding, sorry.
And you tape it to your third eye, and you go and you do your like meditation.
She really does this. It trips me out, you guys. I mean, like I walk down the stairs and she's got this taped moldavite on her head. But
okay. So you can do that. You can tape the moldavite to your third eye, and you can go do your meditation. You can also.
How long have you left that on there for?
I don't know, because I couldn't really. You know what? I couldn't hang with it on there for too long. Sometimes the energy of moldavite is overpowering. Like I bought myself a moldavite necklace, and I was only able to wear that thing for like 5 or 10 minutes because it has like 8 stones on it. And within 10 minutes, I was like, couldn't get that thing off fast enough. It was just, the energy was just too much. So I don't do that often, but that's something you can do.
And I think that's interesting too, that, there are different multivites, and there are different levels of that frequency and different multivite pieces. I don't know why that is, but it's like a thumbprint, I guess. It's like a different.
Every piece is unique.
It is. It is. It really is. So that's kind of.
So anyways, and we heard a lot of people saying that if you put it under your pillow at night, I don't know, you would it connects you to higher realms, and you could have.
Well, that's what I've been doing. I've been putting it under my pillow.
You're supposed to be able to have like lucid dreaming and like astral projection and all that. And I have not been able to get to astral projection on my own accord. So I was like, hey, let's try this. Maybe it'll work. Mm-hmm. But we put it under our pillows. We both put it under our pillows the same night. Mm-hmm. And what happened to you?
Well, a couple of interesting things happened to me. First of all, the dog always sleeps in my bedroom. Yeah. At the foot of my bed. Since I've had that moldavite under my bed, the dog won't sleep in my room.
Interesting.
I think that's weird. There's something to be said about that. The dog will not stay in my room. And the dog has slept in my room for months and months and months. And every day, I wake up and there's that dog right there by my bed. And in the last 2 days now, the dog has not been in my room. Moldavite, I don't know, so that's kind of weird. I've had the moldavite out. Where's my piece? I've had this piece out, and I had it paired with another piece because you told me to pair it.
Okay, so the first night we put the moldavite under our pillows, and then we met up in the morning. And what did you say to me?
I was mad because I didn't get a good night's sleep.
I didn't get any sleep either. I did not get any sleep.
So I told her, and I expected this because she told me to expect this. So I did it on a day I expected to do it. So, and I didn't sleep good. I was, really, I just didn't sleep.
Did you dream?
No, I didn't dream really at all because I couldn't get enough time to sleep.
I was dreaming, and my dreams were very lucid, but so lucid to the point that I didn't feel like I was even sleeping. So the next morning we meet up downstairs here in the kitchen for coffee, and neither one of us slept, and we were both pretty cranky.
Yeah.
So we did a little more research, and we decided to add a grounding stone the next night. So I kind of asked the stones, which is a new thing that I'm doing, talking to stones. Since I got the moldavite, now I'm talking to crystals apparently. And I kind of asked them which grounding stone would be best for him. And for him, red jasper kind of spoke up and said me. And then for me, it was smoky quartz.
This one of those.
So he got to sleep with this little guy under his pillow. I had to sleep with this. So anyways, so then the next night we put the moldavite under our pillows with the grounding stones. And
and so I had the grounding stone, and I still had a sleepless night, but
You still didn't sleep the second night?
I slept for like an hour.
I slept like a baby.
I slept for an hour, but tonight I'm going to put it back in its box, back on its shelf, because I'm going to sleep tonight. But I think it's weird that the dog will not come into my room when these stones are out.
You know what? The first night that we had it, I swear we had an alien visitation or something. And moldavite is also known as a stone that, if you want, it will connect you to like other dimensional beings. So if you want to talk to aliens, I guess get you some moldavite. But yeah, I felt like we had some weird goings on that night. I don't remember what exactly happened. I'm sure I wrote it.
So yeah, I mean, like, I don't know if it's psychological. I don't know if it's just the stone. I don't know but maybe there's something to be said about moldavite. I don't know, because the dog, I mean, it's how could the dog have a psychological effect to it? It doesn't even know it's out. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I mean, there is something to be said about that. I think
how do you
that's
feel
my
about
proof. That's
how
my
do you
scientific
feel
proof.
as a skeptical? How do you feel about moldavite? Do you feel drawn to it?
I do feel kind of drawn to it now. I think I'm a little more fascinated by it. You know,
we got to stretch this into an hour, kid.
An hour. Oh my gosh, I should have got paid for this.
Okay, so another interesting thing about moldavite, and this is one of the other reasons I was really drawn to it, is that it will increase your intuitive abilities and your psychic abilities, and like I said, it will help you communicate with higher dimensional beings. I haven't had any since working with it necessarily contact with higher dimensional beings, I have, but I have been feeling, the reason why I was drawn to work with it is because I was feeling like a block. I used to have these crazy visions during my meditations and just felt like really connected. And lately when I go to meditate, I'm like seeing nothing and like hearing crickets. And it's kind of disturbing because I used to have these like wonderful adventures in my meditations. So I was really bummed and trying to figure out like all these different things, like, oh, what can I do? You know, did my pineal gland get calcified all of a sudden? Or, you know, is it because I started drinking coffee again? I don't know. So when I found out that you could,
do you think that those things really do affect you?
I think they do. I don't know. I'm still, I'll let you know. I gave up coffee. And so I'll let you know. I
mean, I still see you do readings, and she's pretty spot on every time. I mean, you're pretty spot on. Even I haven't seen you.
Yeah, but I'm not seeing the visuals that I was seeing before, and that was bothering me. So when I heard that moldavite could help you with your third eye blocks and everything, I wanted to work with it. And so I think it's still working on that. I got the message from moldavite that there's something that I'm not seeing, like I'm refusing to see, and we're still working that out. But a lot of stuff has come up, like emotional stuff, since I started working with it. Like a lot, I actually am seeing things and people in different situations where I didn't see before. Like a friend of mine that is kind of catty, and I always thought she was like really on the up and up. And I started realizing, like I was talking to her the other day, and I had my mojo bag of moldavite, and I'm sitting there listening to what she's saying, and I'm like, oh my God, like she's trying to push my buttons like big time. And she did it twice, and I saw it where before I had never seen that. So I feel like the moldavite is kind of working with me in, you know, a lot of ways. Like a lot of things have come up since I started wearing the moldavite and carrying the moldavite around, but it's not in a way where it like shakes you and is like, wake up, you know, it's in a like really subtle way where it
I will tell you another interesting thing though, that I've noticed the last 2 days since I've been doing this. I mean, like, even though I've been up because I haven't slept very well, I've had incredible patience with people. And because I deal with like a lot of people on a daily basis. So I've had better patience, even though I've had no sleep, very little sleep. I've had better patience the last 2 days with people than I probably had in the last 3 months.
Wow. So it is transforming you.
And, well, I mean, like, I should be cranky. I should be like saying, hey, go ask somebody else. You know, I'm done for today. But no, I've had incredible patience, and I've actually, I don't know, I don't know. It's weird to say. Something maybe changed.
It's hard to say. Yeah.
I mean, I think it's interesting. I'm so skeptical all the time, but you know, I mean, you know, it's been around for 15 million years.
Yeah, you know, and I read that the stones have been used by early humans as far back as the Paleolithic times as tools and talismans. So, I mean, moldavite has been around for a very, very long, long time, and it really is a powerful stone. Like I always liked crystals. I thought they were pretty, but I would buy them and I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm not feeling nothing. Like, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But since working with the moldavite, now the crystals are actually talking to me. And so there's some crystals that you can pair the moldavite with. One is like the Herkimer diamonds. And these help really like amplify the energy. And then another good one that I like to pair it with, this one is like rutilated quartz. If you put it with this, you will feel electric, like electrified. There's aquamarine that helps you kind of like, I think it helps.
So like whatever mood you want to feel the next day, you're going to pair it with whatever you want.
Yeah, so I would pair it, like I really wanted to get like the psychic abilities. So I got Shugnite, I think it's called. Shugnite, I don't know.
What is it called?
Shugnite? Or I don't know. It's like a dark purple stone.
I think that's a rapper.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyways, so but this had like this, the two of them paired together had like the psychic connection vibe. So I paired it with this. I wore it around, and I can't really say that I felt any more psychic than other times.
Right.
But you never know. But I did really like it when I paired it with like rose quartz, because that mellows it out, and regular quartz. And I got this, I went to the gem show. I got this like pink opal. That kind of mellowed it out. But actually that kind of brought up more emotions. I was actually feeling more emotional when I paired it with that. So didn't want to do that 2 days in a row. Yeah. So we'll have to get you. But my favorite combination was the citrine. The citrine and the moldavite. I was like so focused, like on point all day long at work. I was like in the flow state. That was a good combination for me. You can also ground it with tourmaline. There's lots of different combinations, and they were all in the book, and they're all found online. And I just thought I would just work my way through all the different combinations. Yeah. So
when you buy moldavite, you got to try to make sure you get it from a reputable dealer.
Yeah, that was another thing that we read online, is that there's a lot of fakes out there, and that they will take glass and make it look like moldavite. And when I went to the gem show, I think the cheapest price I found was $6 a gram. And you could go anywhere, like the museum quality, which is a lot more textured looking, or kind of like a lighter color.
It's a bigger chunk.
Yeah, it was a lot more. I think, I found like $6, $10. That was like pretty decent. I think for like,
it's a rare.
For like this size, I think we paid like $20.
Right.
So that wasn't too bad.
Yeah, I think I paid $20, $30.
This one, for some reason, maybe because it was at a retail store, and it is the lighter, like clear one, was like $40. But I had to have it because I wanted to see if it worked. If it was going to unblock my chakras, it was worth the $40. So, but I do feel like it's working. I don't leave the house without it anymore. I feel super drawn to it. Like,
well, you always wear the ring.
I had to go back and buy the ring because I wanted it with me all the time, and I just can't always wear a mojo bag around my neck. Or sometimes I wear like leggings and I don't have pockets. So,
you ever think it's unhealthy to wear it all the time?
I think, well, they say when the stone, don't do that. When the stone, sorry, there's children present. When the stone is done working with you, it'll sometimes just like disappear on you. Like you'll know when the stone's kind of done working with you.
Right. Okay.
So today, also, I read in the book, today I took it to the float tank. Yeah. And I took it to the float tank, and I put it like on my third eye, and I put a few pieces in the water. If you don't know what a float tank is, it's like a deprivation chamber. Yeah. And it's got Epsom salts, like 1,000 pounds of Epsom salts in the water. So it's highly salinated water. So I took it in there because I had read like in the book that, if you do that, it'll really like amplify the energies and, blah, blah, blah. So, and
you're pretty much in blackness when you're in this.
Yeah, you're tall.
I can see you with blackness and your third eye open. What did you see?
I didn't see anything, but I did felt like an electrical current, like when I would like either cross my legs or like, because you float in the float tank like this, you're like floating around. But if I crossed my legs, my feet, or
it comes close to being in weightlessness.
it was like an electrical.
Close.
It was like an electrical circuit, like when I would touch myself. Like, well, you know,
like a little jolt.
Yeah, it was like a buzzing, like a buzzing sensation. But I didn't see anything, and I was a little bit disappointed. I was like, all right, I want to see some crazy stuff in here. I didn't see any crazy stuff.
Maybe it's something that you shouldn't force. Maybe it's something you should just let it ride.
Yeah, you do kind of have to just let it do its magic. And, you know, that's one of my issues that's come up since working with the moldavite is I actually need more patience too. But I think it's helping me with that.
I mean, the moldavite helped me with maybe it was the moldavite, but I mean, like I was incredibly patient the last 2 days when I should have been like a pit bull with everybody. But no, I was incredibly patient and genuinely, I mean, like it made me feel good about myself to be able to have that much patience.
It does give me a lot of energy when I'm working. So that was one positive side effect. And a lot of people say...
And I did have a lot to energy throughout the day. I wasn't tired.
You never felt worn out like you had to take it out of your pocket. Because a lot of people say you can, like when the first time they use it, they can only handle it for like short.
No, I like the full energy. I like the energy flowing throughout the whole day. And I wrote it out and it was like, you know, it was actually like better than being on coffee.
Yeah.
I mean, like I didn't drink. I like cleansed I did a total just moldavite by itself. I didn't want to be impeded by anything else. So I stopped, you know, I didn't drink coffee or anything like that. And I was just the moldavite. Yeah.
Anyways, sorry, kids present.
So anyway, I guess that's pretty much all we wanted to say about moldavite. But tell us about your future shows.
Okay, so we thought for my channel, what we would like to do, because I feel like I'm like the spiritual, like, you know, the TV show or the movies Jackass, how these guys will do anything. Like that's me when it comes to spiritual stuff. If there's something, like I said, if there's a shortcut, I'm going to take it. So, you know, I found out about the labyrinth. There's other things that I do, like this Lucia light and Pandora star light, all different kinds of things. Super cool. Yeah. So what we would like to do is we would like to do a show where he's Scully and I'm Mulder.
And it will be X-Files. And we'll interpret it. Well, you'll see it through our eyes. We'll interpret it for you. And I would like to like take it out to like live shows, you know, just like go out on the field.
Yeah, like
I would like to do. I'd like to do a field test with the labyrinth. There's a cool one we go to, and it's got a huge obelisk in the middle of it. It's really cool. I'd like to show everybody. But
if there's anything that you guys are curious about that you know, you haven't tried yourself, but you're kind of wondering, let me know in the comments or send me a note, because we are totally willing to try it. And if it's dangerous, I'll let him go first.
And I will.
But yeah, so we thought that would be an interesting and unique way to bring information forward, is to have different perspectives, because I'm one of those kind of people that I want to believe. So,
yeah, me too.
You know,
my heart says to believe, you know, I mean,
yeah.
And my soul says to believe. And if I believe I have a soul, then obviously that soul's going somewhere, right?
Right. So, I mean, like, even for me, like when they said, oh, you hold the moldavite and you feel this electricity in your hand and you feel it buzzing. And I held the moldavite and I didn't feel anything. I was like, oh no, mine's broken. So I heard that you could charge it. And with most crystals, you know, you charge them in the moon. But with moldavite, you're supposed to charge it in the sun.
Sunlight. Yeah, the sunlight.
So I took it out in the sun. I think I left some crystals with another crystal, and they got turbocharged, and I didn't realize that. And then I took them with me to work or something, and I was freaking flying.
Oh, another fun fact about moldavite is, did you know it was the inspiration for Superman, the kryptonite in Superman?
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
please share.
Yeah, that's the inspiration for the Superman stories, are that the kryptonite, you know, came from another planet, and that's the only thing that can make, like, weakens. And in Superman's case, it's like a reverse. It weakens him when he's around the kryptonite.
Well, maybe
and it does, and it's like, and that's the inspiration of and it's funny that it's the same color, because
it's green.
Yeah, that was the inspiration, was moldavite.
But kryptonite was bad
for him. Superman, it was, yeah.
Oh, but for like mere mortals like us,
and I don't know. I mean,
it gives us Superman.
It gives you enough power to cripple Superman. I guess that's good enough.
So, does anybody have any questions about the moldavite? Because we were trying to stretch this out to an hour, but my sidekick talks really fast.
Sorry.
So, yeah, it's only been a half hour, but yeah.
How does the room look? Can we look into the room? Oh,
yeah, let's see who's here.
Let's see. Are you guys interested in this show?
Rainbow
Is it
Phoenix,
fun? Or give us some feedback, everybody. I know I need to practice talking a little better. I know. I'm just excited, you guys.
I don't see anybody. So anyways, how can you be sure it's moldavite? Is there a way to tell if it's real moldavite?
So you got to look. I would recommend looking that up, Googling that, and looking.
Well,
that up.
I think you can tell by feel. I haven't actually found a fake piece of moldavite, but you can tell by feel. And then, like when you hold it up to the light and you can see into it, you can see the texture and stuff in there. And
there are, like, you can see certain bubbles. I think it's air bubbles that.
Yeah, and if you had one of those little like jeweler's eyes,
and that's what they recommend.
You could see the texture.
And if you go into a reputable dealer, they'll have an eyepiece that you can look at it with. They'll tell you, here's an eyepiece. Go ahead and look at it. And they'll tell you.
That was a good question, Patrick. Yeah. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
So yeah. So anyways, do you have
all the people that she buys moldavite from, I've seen that it's all real and it's good.
Well, I was kind of worried because when I went to the gem show, there was all these people there selling moldavite.
It's supposedly supposed to be like a rare stone.
It's supposed to be so rare, and there was like
tons and tons of it.
It was like in every booth. So I didn't know who to buy it from. There was a big, like you could tell, it was just like moldavite. And the guy that was working there, I was talking to him, and I'm like, "Oh, where are you from?" And he's like, "From the Czech Republic." And I'm like,
that's where you get it from.
Well,
that's where it comes from.
But that doesn't mean, but I could tell by looking at it that it wasn't. Because he had the museum quality pieces. And like I said, that was the booth that I sat at that I felt like really, really hot.
Mm-hmm. So I think the
his moldavite was good. That's why I picked up your piece, was at that booth. I bought mine from the guy selling it for $6 a gram. But,
Yeah, I think if you're buying it from a Czechoslovakian, you can pretty much be secure.
Basically, they say if it comes from China, don't buy it. Because that's usually where the counterfeit moldavite comes from.
It was made by somebody.
So looking over at your notes, is there anything that you missed that maybe you forgot to mention?
No, I think that's pretty much it. I hope everybody else out there can try it out, give us some feedback and see what, I would like to see, just so it's not in my head, if it affects everybody else a little bit funny too or not. It'd be interesting to see. I'm interested about Jennifer's next new show. I can't wait to see what it'll be.
Oh, I had an idea for that. Now I forgot what it was. Oh, the next show. Well, I don't want to give it away because I don't want anybody to beat me to the punch. But the next one is going to be good because it's going to be brain hacks. Hacks for your brain, spiritual brain hacks. Well, you're going to have to tune in to find out. And
I want to go through it with you.
Well, I'm going to test it on you because believe me,
all right.
I think you need it.
What's that supposed to mean? What?
It means that we all could use some brain hacks. Who doesn't want more brain power?
So what is it, like Ajax for your brain or something?
No. But yeah, I'm all about spiritual hacks like shortcuts. That's what I'm going to call it. I'm going to call it spiritual hacks. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which I think, I know a lot of people are like, oh, you can't take shortcuts to this stuff. But there's tools. I look at them as tools.
I think it's tools to opening up the evolutionary process. I think there are ways to trigger off parts of the brain and parts of the body that to evolutionary, you can become, we don't all have stronger,
we don't all have 10 years to sit on a mountain like a monk. So if we can take shortcuts, then why the heck not?
Yeah.
That's my theory. Yeah. So, that's what's going to be coming up. I'm going to a special class to learn some brain hacking, and I'm going to share it with you guys when I get back from the class.
This is going to be interesting. I've never even
It's going to be great. It's going to be great. You guys are going to love it. Okay. So if there isn't any more questions, I guess we're kind of pretty much done with the information.
Yeah. It's been fun. I hope you guys had an interesting, fun time too.
Well, I hope you learned something about moldavite.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I can test it on you too. Okay, I'll test it on you. Uh-oh, here comes more kids.
Hey, you guys.
So, thank you. So, let's just end the live here on a good note. And I hope you guys look forward to the next installment of, I don't know, we need to have a name for our show. We don't have a name
We'll
yet.
come up with something in the near future.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, you can get, the thing with the moldavite too is you don't have to have a big old piece. It will work with it. Hey, one of you kids, come here, please.
Oh yeah, I'll be part of this.
I have my daughter and her boyfriend here who's also, he's like super conservative. Like he doesn't believe in any of this woo-woo business. So what did you feel when you touched the moldavite?
I got a headache.
You did. Did you
I
feel
did.
any tingling or buzzing?
No, but I got a major headache that wouldn't go away.
So what do you think about it?
I'm very skeptical, so I'm not sure what I think about it. But
Do you think it sucks?
I don't think it sucks. But
Do you feel like it could transform your life?
no,
No.
no.
Do you think would you take it or leave it? Isn't it?
I mean, I'd take it just for the sake
Is it a
of not
yay or a
knowing.
nay?
It's a
Yeah.
yay, I guess.
Okay.
Yay.
So are you willing to sleep with it under your pillow?
Sure.
And what about you?
Oh, I don't know about any of it.
Well, how about if you try it and then we'll see what
I think the audience would like to see a face
Yeah.
behind the voice.
Yeah,
Come over.
This is my spiritual investigation team because these are the skeptics back here. This one's like a little more open to the spiritual stuff, and then
Yeah.
you guys know me. I'm just like, oh yes to everything. So
Yeah.
so yeah. So anything that you guys want to test us out, have us test out. We will.
Thanks, you guys.
I would try it.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna give them a piece and let them put it under their pillows and see what happens to them. All right, guys. Well, I know it's a little bit short of an hour, but thank you so much for
Thank you.
coming. And I'm so happy to see all of you guys. I've missed everybody in chat, so I kind of almost wish I could be sitting in the chat instead of doing the show. But I was so excited about the moldavite that I really wanted to share it with you guys because I feel like it could really help a lot of people.
Yeah.
I bought a piece. One of these pieces I bought on Amazon actually, and it was under $20. And I think it was this little piece right here. But yeah, you can find it on Amazon. Just be careful, who you buy it from. And it came in like this really cool little box, and it had a little like a little card that was telling all about the moldavite and all that stuff. So.
And I do recommend Googling it and just learning how to see real moldavite from phony moldavite. I mean, they have little tutorials. Just click on one and it'll tell you real quick.
Yeah, there's tons of videos out there.
Hundreds of how to tell you. And they're all pretty much the same. So.
Yeah, there's tons of videos out there on people sharing their experiences with moldavite, and they're all, to me, amazing because, how can so many people have these amazing experiences if it's not legit? I mean, it's got to be legit, right?
Right. Well, what was it? The Holy Grail? You were telling me something about the Holy Grail.
Well, it's rumored to be the stone of the Holy Grail.
Well, I mean, what's that mean? The stone of the Holy Grail, though. What does that mean?
Well, like in the mythological, biblical sense, like the holy, like when Indiana Jones went searching for the Holy Grail, supposedly there's a moldavite stone on there.
Really?
And that's another thing that you can do is you can charge your water with moldavite, although they don't recommend putting the moldavite in the water. I've seen people put it in like little vials.
That was the dog. Sorry.
Little vials and put the vials in the water. Or you can put it like next to the water. You can put it next to the water and it will somehow charge your water. But it's a very like electrifying type energy.
And another weird thing was when I had my moldavite, I was complaining to Jennifer. I was like, Jennifer, feel my moldavite. It feels like it's like something dust or something's leaving in my fingers, but there's no dust in my fingers. It's just something I'm feeling from touching it. And it's weird. I don't know.
The Holy Grail is in your brain. Well, see, it's supposed to work on your head and your heart. So I don't know. It could be. And then Pink Astral Illuminator says, I think water is the Holy Grail.
Thank you.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think, but you know, our bodies are.
I mean, like, let's get down to brass tacks. If I wore this at a poker game tonight, do you think I could have a couple good hands?
I think we should try it. Bring your money, son.
Yeah, let's play poker and let's see who. Let's have one of us have the moldavite and somebody don't.
I'll meet you here.
We'll try it out. We'll have a poker game and we'll see how one with the moldavite turns out.
Get your butt to the bank first.
Okay.
This is high stakes.
All right.
Too bad I don't know how to play poker.
We'll play for our moldavite pieces.
Yeah, right. Okay, guys. Thanks for coming. My clock says 4:44, so that sounds like a good time to end the show. So yeah, we'll see you guys next time and have a good night. Bye.
Bye.